Hi there, welcome to my channel. For this painting I'm using Archer's watercolor paper called Press, and it's 100% cotton. These come in a pad and they're all stuck together, which makes it easy when you are wetting the paper so it doesn't warp. These are the paints that I have handy to use, and I have got some clean water ready. These are the brushes I'm using, and they are small brushes, some round, and I have got a eradicator brush in there as well. So the video, I started applying the lightest colors that you can see on the dog's hair, which is the ultramarine blue. So these are the highlights. The purpose of this video is just to show you how I paint the eyes of the dog, but I thought I'd just add this little bit, it might be interesting to you, it might help. So always with watercolors, as you know, you always work with the lightest colors and build slowly to add mid tones and then dark tones to build it up in layers. So I'm looking at my reference photo and following where those highlights are, which is the ultramarine blue that I can see on the photo reference, and applying that all over. So also on the top of the nose, there is a highlight there, it's quite blue. And this reference photo I picked up from Pixabay because I wanted to show you how to paint the eyes of the dog with watercolors. So now I'm applying a yellow ochre around the mouth area. And obviously I'm still keeping this as light as possible, so you can see on the plate the mixture is very watery. Later on, when I create more depth and more detail, then I will go darker and use a thicker consistency of this paint. So I'm just following my reference photo to apply it where it needs to be. So now I'm going to start in the eye, and I'm using Payne's Grey for this. Also the brush I'm using is size 1 round brush. So notice the tip wasn't quite pointy enough, it was sort of spreading out a bit, so I wetted it and then dab it on the tissue a little bit, make it round, and then I apply it, and it worked perfectly fine. So paying close attention to my reference photo, I can see where the line is and the shape of the eye. Okay, so that's one eye done. Now we're going to move on to the next eye. You can see that brush is opened a little bit, so it needs to be more pointy than that. But it seems to be working fine. So I'm looking at where those darker tones are as well and applying that around the eyelid, because that's going to help me later on with the shape of the outside of the eye. Okay, so now I'm going to use burnt sienna. I'm using a very watery consistency for the eye, so the eye colour, or the colour in the eye. So looking at the reference photo again and try and avoid those highlights that I can see, working around it where the colour is. Okay, so I'm going to do the next eye. So in this video I'm also going to show you some beautiful views and a walk that we did just recently in Beacon Hill. So Beacon Hill is in Hampshire and is overlooking the Highclere Castle. So I'm sure you have heard of Highclere Castle, where Downton Abbey was filmed as well. And it's a fantastic view, and it's autumn, so the colours are magnificent. I hope you enjoyed those clips, which I will be adding in a minute for you. So I'm applying now the paints grade around the eye to define where the eyelashes are going to be and those dark tones. So I'm trying to create in here the expression on the eye. So the eye actually is lifted, like an eyebrow is lifted up a little bit. So I wanted to create that because that's the character of the animal, is showing the expressions on the eyes. And that's quite important to captivate if you are doing detail painting, because it will bring that bring the painting to life, and you'll capture a realism of and a similarity of the dog. So yes, I'm adding now the paints grey on around that eye, and I keep on going back and forth, adding a little bit more where I can see it's needed. Now I'm doing the pupil, and I'm not going too much too worried about it, just to make it so it's gonna be there, and I will go back to it and make it darker. Okay, so now I'm making it darker, the pupil. I'll still define that section. And at some point you have to let this eye dry and move on to the next one. But before we do that, I will show you some clips of a walk on Beacon Hill. It's her birthday today. There's the entrance to Highclere Castle as a gate. And there's Highclere Castle just over there. So pretty here. It's a bit cloudy, so it might get wet at some point, but hopefully it will stay dry for a little bit longer. But look at these beautiful autumn colours, and they're gorgeous. See if you can read it. Give give you a minute to read it. Okay, so this is at the top of Beacon Hill and he's buried here. So from here he's overlooking at the castle, which is down there. And I can get it. Can't see with my sunglasses on, but you can see it, I'm sure. It's down there. So there's the castle. So he's overlooking the castle and he was buried at the top here. And he's the one that discovered the tomb of Tutankhamun. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those clips. Beautiful views, and the autumn colours were so beautiful to see. Highclere Castle is just fascinating from the top of that hill. You can see in the distance. I hope I made it justice with the video. So my dog really enjoyed the day, and she was all over the place. So she was loving it. So it was fantastic. The red kites are amazing. There were so many of them flying everywhere. So we're back to this painting again. So we're adding more definition on that eye now. So I'm going over again and applying that Payne's grey as much as I can. I don't like using black, as you probably have gathered that from my previous paintings. The reason why I don't use black, it just makes the painting flat, and a lot of people say that. A lot of artists do say that black, it can make the painting look flat. So sometimes if you need it to make it much darker on the pupil, then that's fine to use black, but anywhere else it's quite good to keep on creating a mixture of color that will bring a black that you'll find that is suitable for the painting. In my case, I use Payne's grey, and sometimes I mix Payne's grey with burnt sienna as well, and that creates a nice black replica, but it has a different tone, and it's much nicer. I think it's nicer on the painting. So now I'm creating that curve. As you can see on the top of the lid, I'm creating that curve. Now I jumped way ahead of the painting. You can see now how that eyebrow is lifted, and I still need to work more on this to create more realistic painting. So it's a beautiful dog, and hopefully I will post maybe in my social media when I get it finished, the finished painting. So I'm trying to create the eyelashes here and the side of the fur on the eye, around the eye, and creating that dark area above it where the eyelid is as well. when you apply dark around a light area, that light area stands out even more. So that helps every time, going back and forth with your darker tone values and playing with your lighter tone values. And you will see the eye will start feeling like it's really glassy and is popping out. It's more realistic. It just looks realistic. So for the highlight, I used Gush at the end. I probably didn't really need it, but I thought I'd just add a little bit more to it, which you'll see me at the end. You'll see the photograph of it finished, the eyes only. So I'm trying to keep a gap between the eyebrow and the eyelid. So keep that light on the eyelid. And you can see now that because I'm applying that dark hair around the eye, that eye is popping out even more, is more glassy, and it's just very pretty, more realistic. There was a lot of reflections on these eyes, so I don't know what the dog was looking at, but very glassy eyes, lots of light. Okay, so I wanted to add the hairs below the eye to make that eyelid better, the bottom eyelid better as well. But I still went over to define that eyelid a little bit better above the eye as well. It's always good that when you're applying paint to move on to another part of your painting if you think you're going a bit too much, you put in too much paint, because you need to obviously add layers and layers to build up the painting. So it's best to let it dry by moving to another section of your painting and continue with that. So you can see the Payne's grey here is getting darker as well as I'm applying the layers. I'm trying to define hairs. So the consistency of the paint that I'm using is sort of watery. It isn't that thick. It's quite diluted. So the colour I used for the eyebrow, the little bit of lighter colour, is a burnt sienna, but a very diluted burnt sienna, and then I created more depth on that as well. So this part of the left eye is quite dark around the eye, and that was quite tricky to do. You have to keep on looking at the reference photo and seeing where the hair, the direction of the hair changes. So I always leave a little rim just below the eye of a lighter colour, and then with that I applied a little bit of the very diluted Payne's grey on that section, or you can apply Winsor Violet as well, but it keeps it light underneath. Now I want to take the opportunity to say thank you very much for following my videos and watching my videos, and thank you for sticking in here for this long. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful if you are painting pet portraits, and give you some techniques of how to paint eyes, and give a bit more of realistic painting on the eyes. They are quite tricky to do, but the more you practice, the better you get at it, and it is a very enjoyable process. So if you have enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please take the opportunity to subscribe to my channel, as you will receive notifications when I upload new content. So thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon for my next video. Bye bye.